Okay, welcome to another ModFreakz installation video. Today we're going to be working with the Generation 1, Generation 2 PlayStation 4 controller. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be swapping out the triggers, the bumpers, the D-pad, the PlayStation button share, and options, and pretty much all your buttons. So we'll go ahead and get started on this. The first process is going to be to remove the shell, of course. So I may go ahead and fast forward the screw removal so you don't have to watch the boring stuff, and we'll get right down to the nitty gritty. Once you get all the screws removed, you can go ahead and pry your controller open, grab it by the bottom here, and pry until it pops open. This actually came open fairly easy. The back comes off first. Make sure it comes over the triggers if you can get it over. Looks like this one's sticking on me a little bit. Oh, pull the trigger off. Alright, so I'm going to disconnect the ribbon for the light bar, and we'll get that out of the way here. I need my trigger so I can get it out of that hole. Please be very careful not to lose your trigger's springs. You're going to need those. Okay, that's off now, so I'll set that to the side. This is already off, so I might as well not worry about it right now. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and remove the battery pack. Pull it by the plastic piece, not by the wires. We'll go side to side until it comes off. And we'll go ahead and pull this up and off. It should just come right off. Okay, so we've got that off there. Now I've got a screw right here I need to take out. Holds the board down. And I'll also have to remove the touchpad's cable. Grab it by the blue piece, pull out. Actually, no, this one has a little white flap here. I believe you have to flip upwards to release that. Then it just pops right out. It slides right out pretty much. Don't forget about that. Don't pull on your wire and break it. That's a little flappy thing here. Alright, so we'll go ahead and pull that board out. These wires are disconnected. I've already cooled down my solder, or I would reconnect them. But in theory, what you should do is go ahead and pull the whole thing out, not just the board. Okay, and that'll give you access to your buttons underneath. You just have to ignore my board being disconnected here. Okay, so I'm going to set this to the side for now. We're going to go ahead and get this front piece done. We're going to pull off our silicone on the front for the PlayStation button. There goes the option and share button. Pull them to the side. Let's go ahead and put the option and share buttons in. So let's figure out which side goes to where here. Okay, that one goes in there. This one goes in there. Okay, I got a PlayStation button right here. We'll drop it down in. And then we'll replace the silicone back on top of it. Make sure it's firmly pressed. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and do the D-pad by pulling this silicone off, pushing up with my finger so I can get a grip on it. Pull that off. I'll put this D-pad in, and we'll replace the silicone. Okay, once that is done, go over here to the buttons, pull the silicone off, and it's the same process for all of them. I'll set that to the side. We'll pull all these buttons out. Now, if I'm not mistaken, all these buttons for this generation are all shaped the exact same, has 2 tabs on them. They'll fit in any slot, so there's no reason, no worry about where to put them. Just drop them down in, make sure they fall completely in. And the last one. After you get those buttons in there, you go ahead and replace your silicone again. And that's cool. Make sure it's firmly on there so those buttons do not come out when you turn upside down. Alright, so those buttons will not come out. Okay, I'm going to set this to the side for now. Because this is the more complicated part. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull these off. These triggers, sorry, the bumpers will wiggle side to side until they come off. Make sure you put the corresponding one back on. This has L1 on it. This one has L1 on it. So we'll slide it back in there where the other one came off. You do the same for your triggers. This one's already off, so I'll go ahead and just install it. Then I'll show you the other one. These springs, if they come off, I'm pretty sure they just slide onto here. You want to make sure that they're down inside. That way when you put your trigger on, it should fit properly in that groove there. Then you snap it down. If I can get it to go. There we go. There we go. She fit. Okay, so I'm going to pull this side off. That's the trigger. Don't forget about your springs. I'm going to wiggle this bumper off. Put the bumper on this side. See if we can get it on here. There we go. Okay, now again with the trigger. Make sure it's properly, the spring is properly placed on. This time the groove is on this side, the inside, so I want to make sure that it's the same way on here, which would be on this side, I believe. So it goes on there, and it's going to eventually rest in there like that. I'm going to make it fit in that groove right there. There's a small groove the spring goes into. You just snap it down. See if I get it to go in right. I believe I did. Feels a little loose. It doesn't want to spring back like this one does. Yeah, maybe it does. Maybe I'm just imagining things. Okay, so now we've got that done. We're going to go ahead and put it back together. Slide your shell down in. Make sure your wire here is up above for your touchpad, because you do need to reinstall that. We'll take our touchpad and we'll push that down in, and then we'll take this little flap right here. I'll push it forward. It tightens it on. Don't forget that part. Okay, so once you got those back on, you can go ahead and install your screw. It'll hold the board on. Don't like the way this fits. It's not springing no more. Maybe it broke a spring here. See if I can't fix it real quick. Okay. Alright, about as good as it's going to get. We'll go ahead and put this back on. We'll go ahead and put our battery back in. Then we'll go ahead and install our shell. Remember which way this goes on there. We'll go ahead and install the triggers first, and then the bottom. So this snaps together. We'll install our screws, which I'll go ahead and fast forward this so you don't have to watch this part. Okay, so if you're unsure of your generation for your controller before you mod them out, which I should have mentioned this earlier, you can look at your model number. Not model number, there's a number right above this, made in China. You can take that number to modfreakz.com/pages/PS4 models, and you can look up what model, what generation controller you have. Makes purchasing your buttons a little easier. Let's go ahead and have a look at this controller and see how it looks. Okay, it went from a boring black controller to an almost Halloween controller looking. It's kind of black and orange. It's not bad. Okay, if you like this video and it helped you, feel free to like and share and comment. Follow our Facebook and our YouTube pages and any of our social media pages. I want to thank you guys for watching and have a wonderful gaming day, guys.